We are loving our spot here in Gunnison. We've been mountain biking every day, and today's going to be another fun day. We are going to go to Crested Butte to rent another bike for Teresa, find out which bike's perfect for her, and ride the ski lift up and ride the bikes down and just shuttle all day long so she can get as many laps as possible. I can't wait. Since we're going to be up in the mountains playing and they don't allow dogs there, we're going to leave Fender here all day today to guard the Airstream. So we got to get some energy out and go play Frisbee with him. Do you want to play Frisbee? Alright, let's go. When we took Fender to the sand dunes, we threw the Frisbee to him and he took a big bite of sand and he hates that. So now every time he picks up his Frisbee, he scoops it together to make a taco out of it and he bites the top part so there's no dirt there. He is so intelligent. Come. Somehow Fender knows he's not coming with us. Fender, what's wrong? How does he know? I have no idea how he knows. Dogs know everything.
The comforting thing, though, is it's like, oh, you just feel so bad, but he hardly spends any time alone anymore, which is cool. He gets to go outside more, gets to be with us more. So I have to remind myself, he's still got a better life than he did before we left.
And if we were living in a regular house, he'd still have to stay home certain days too. He can't come everywhere with us. Well, buddy, I'm so sorry, but you're gonna stay here. I'm sorry to do that to you. See ya. I know, doesn't that break your heart? It's not like he could ride on a lift with us anyway. And this sure beats being in a kennel. Yeah, so don't judge us too harshly. One other unanticipated consequence that living on the road has had is it's shaken Teresa's confidence to ride her bike. Since every trail we ride is a new trail, she's never seen it before, and since she's a newer rider, she has a hard time reacting to stuff as it comes up. Like if she comes around a corner and there's a rock there, she wasn't prepared for it. She has a hard time adjusting to that. So it's actually really hurt her confidence, and she's actually digressing in her progress because every corner she just hesitates around because she's afraid of what she might find. And so those are the skills we're going to be working on today. And even though today's going to be super fun, we're going to be focusing on finding her the right bike and gaining a couple fundamental skills so the next place we go ride, she's a little bit more prepared and a little more confident. Well, dang it. We just called the bike shop to reserve the bike for Teresa, and someone else beat us to it. So they had both bikes we're trying to decide between, which is a Santa Cruz 5010C and a Yeti SB5C. Both of them are out. So we're still going to do Crested Butte, but we're not going to be renting a bike to test it out for her. So we'll just be riding her normal bike and make a fun day out of it.
So we weren't able to get the Yeti that I wanted to try out reserved on time, but they have one here waiting to be picked up, so I'm just going to pedal it a little bit.
She's definitely on too big of a bike right now. These she looks so much more comfortable on.
I think I turned better on this than I did even on the 5010.
All right, we found the small 5010 that's also reserved, but we're riding it until they come pick it up to try it. So she gets to ride back to back the two bikes we're looking at. This will be fun.
I don't really know bikes, so I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling, but I think a Santa Cruz in general just feels super different, but this one just feels more grounded and lower and more solid. But the Yeti does feel a little more nimble to me, a little more responsive.
She's actually hinting on a few things. The Yeti has a longer chainstay, a steeper head angle, which is more responsive in her words, and a higher bottom bracket. So she's feeling the lower bottom bracket on this. Center of gravity's lower to the ground. It'll rail better downhill. The Yeti is a little bit, your position's shifted forward a little bit more. So it's just a different riding experience. Personally, I'd rather ride the Santa Cruz, but it's not about me. She's riding it like I've never seen her ride before, which is a good thing.
That was a helpful experience. That was worth stopping over for a few minutes. I think it's helped me get a better feel for my preferences.
Too bad we can't rent it, but now we know we probably want to rent a Yeti before buying, and she'd be fine on a 5010, but she'd probably be even more happy on a Yeti. We just found a van that is way cooler than ours.
Yeah, this is our 86 Synchro Westphalia. It was a conversion. So it's 86 and had the top cut and put 83 all camper conversion parts. And yeah, man.
Was it a Synchro originally?
It's a Synchro originally, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Oh.
Yeah, so all the 83 stuff.
Pop top. Got the bed up there.
Yep. Bikes. Yeah, I did the weatherproof on the seats.
Is it a diesel?
It's not a diesel, it's the original motor. So just rolled over 190,000 miles on the way here. And but we're going to put a 1.8 Audi gas turbo motor in it really soon. Yeah, just so we can actually go a little faster than 29 miles an hour up Monarch Pass and all the passes. But no, everything works. It's really fantastic. This is Elliot. He's the most important person in this little video. But my name is Bobby Wenzel, and I do unlearnpavement.com. Unlearn Pavement is just all about realizing that the things that were already there, the dirt, the gravel roads, the trails, they were there way before anything got paved over. And what I want people to understand is that getting out and getting away from the things that they're used to and comfortable with is what they should be doing. And if you think that you're not capable, you are. So check it out. Check out the website, unlearnpavement.com. Thanks, guys.
We're instant friends if you can't tell. We are going to go ride a trail called Snodgrass Mountain. How can you not love a trail already called Snodgrass? That's amazing. Tess is going to ride her Nomad, her bigger bike that we've had for a year and a half, because we got to sell that before we can buy the Yeti, but we're still going to practice confidence and a little bit of skills and just get out and enjoy nature. We're at the Snodgrass trailhead, about to start this awesome trail. It has amazing reviews, and it's rated a blue square, which is intermediate, which is perfect for Teresa and me. Should be fun. Colorado, we love your mountains. We pretty much love everything about Colorado. Our trail takes us up there and around there. We're at about 10,000 feet elevation, so we have to take lots of breaks.
Climbing is destroying me already, and we're just starting. But it feels good to be on a bike and outside.
Try to turn like skis, so your right foot goes down a little on right turns. Yeah, then your left foot goes back and down a little on the left. That was a beautiful trail. Not technical at all, but real flowy and gorgeous through the trees. You could ride that probably on a rigid. You probably don't even need front suspension. It is great to be alive and riding and in Crested Butte, where we want to be right now.
Our ride today turned out a little bit differently than planned, but we still had a great time. It was a beautiful ride. I appreciate Steve for being willing to do something a little not so technical today. That was awesome, and I think it was just what I needed. Just to get out and ride stuff that I can ride and enjoy the scenery.
She did a great job, and it was a fun, beautiful ride. I love my bike. I think I'd love a Bronson a tiny bit more, but I don't know if it's worth losing all the money selling this and then buying a new Bronson. Who knows? We'll see. We are in downtown Crested Butte, and it is awesome here. Mountain bikes everywhere, cool shops. Hey, look, a YT Capra. I've never seen one of those in person. Those get really good reviews, and they're an interesting bike because they're not sold at bike shops. You have to get them online only, so they're way cheaper. So far, this is my favorite downtown we've been to of all the little towns. It's small enough that it's not super crowded, but it's big enough that there's some really cool stuff here. Check out all the dogs in town. There were like 10 dogs there. I almost wonder if they encourage you to eat with your dog there. That's cool. We totally could have brought Fender.
Yeah, if only we'd known that we weren't going to ride the resort.
Just don't tell him.
Well, we were walking downtown in Crested Butte, and we stumbled across this little green space in between two of the commercial buildings. And this is called the Mountain Roots Garden Project. They grow food for the local food bank, and they also have kind of a CSA going on. They've got a few different locations. A lot of them are operated through the schools, which is so awesome to see.
It's a beautiful day. Good day to be strolling Main Street. This is the most bike-friendly and dog-friendly town I've ever seen. Check out this amazing art. It's made out of a welder. That is so cool.
My name's Sean Guerrero. This little place where some of my work at is known as Mabuhay, and I've been consigning a lot of my work and have known the owner for probably 30 years. I used to live here in Crested Butte in the 90s. I currently live in Big Fork, Montana, up by Flathead Lake. I've always been creative, even as a kid. I grew up in Colorado, and then I've lived over in France for quite a few years. But my thing personally is within my works. Generally, I started out cutting up pieces of bumpers and building them into sculptures, large, small. They're all across the United States. Most of my pieces that I do on the smaller scale are just found objects, a lot of kinetic work that blows around in the wind. But I like to incorporate some of myself, windy type of satirical sculpture or storyline into some of my pieces. So it varies on comedy, you know, some sort of contemporary realistic statements about society in general. But overall, I don't try to get too extreme. It varies upon who wants to buy something. I try to keep them, you know, anywhere from under $1,000, and they can go all the way up to like, you know, 80 or 90. Just depends. This one here is representational of the native cultures and the invasion of the introduction to mechanized agricultural things, the takeover of Indian lands through industrialization of the big capitalist car culture. So in this, as I find pieces, I start with something that starts building upon it, but I know that I want to stay with a particular theme. So a lot of these different elements, like this little thing here, was a medal that the generals used to give to the Indian tribes. It was called the Peace Medal, and it's called the Peace and Friendship Medal. They would, and of course, you know, they always broke those treaties. But this has a lot of different themes to it, mostly, like I said, Native American. When the wind blows, they used to use these in some of their dances. Here's another element of the farm thing. Some of the colors are, you know, this is Plains Indians. That was very akin to the Plains Indians themselves. Horse blankets with some type of Southwest design. The blue and the orange, as you can see, this was an old seed grain elevator. So seeds ran through this. And also, I found this, I don't remember where, but it's got the Chevrolet symbol. And the Chevrolet was one of the Indian tribes in the Pacific Northwest, or the Northwest, that later became emaciated by the large car companies. The irony here that I found was here you have a wing off of an old World War II airplane. This was found in Livingston, Montana. It's an Eagle. It was off of an American Trailways bus that I found that I cut off the side of with my Sawzall. But it had some sort of symbolic meaning. I didn't know where this would end up. I found it 2 years ago. This was just built, you know, within a month, but this came from an old aircraft yard in Denver that's no longer there. But the whole thing came together with this piece. This now kind of blows around in the different directions of the four winds. Without wind, you would not have birds that were able to fly. To the native cultures, these predatory birds were very strong medicine. Without the dynamics of a bird and observance of birds through Da Vinci and all of the early inventors, you would not have the aircraft. Yet at the same time, the two are almost representative of themselves. You have a warbird, an eagle who is a predatory, you know, lives off of killing other birds, and then you have a war airplane itself. The same thing, but yet there's this certain elegance to this, all, you know, of this time period. So what this does is it's basically a glorified weather vane, but it has more to that, and you know, as the wind blows, it will go in different directions. And when I built this, it needed one last piece to bring it all together, which was this fuse panel. This fuse panel came out of a airplane I'm working with. It's not going to fly, it doesn't have the wings, but I'm turning it into a travel trailer. And so this came out behind the co-pilot seat. I put it there and it just fit. And sometimes when I'm building these pieces, it takes that. You have to know when to stop, you have to know when it's missing something, and you have to know or have something to find that brings it together to complete the piece itself. This one here is called Little Big Man Revisited. The reason why I called it that is because of the movie that Dustin Hoffman was in, the decimation in the Sand Creek Massacre with Chief Black Kettle, and then his recanting as an old man in the storyline, witnessing the event that was the Custer's Little Bighorn. Mm-hmm. So this is just what I was trying to say. When I'm searching and doing my travels, things go through one's mind, and as a creative person you want to tell that story, whether it's in film form, book form, poetry, prose, or three-dimensional build-up of found objects. That's really what I try to do with my work. So in a nutshell, I hope that I've explained that to you. If you want to contact me, my website is chromeshawn.com. And if you want to see other images of other works that I've done on a larger scale, you can just Google images Shawn Guerrero, artist, and you'll see many other things there. And as the French say, et voila, there you go.
I gotta say, coming into town and seeing the knight and the dragon, immediately I just said, that is the coolest art I've ever seen.
And the irony of the knight and the dragon is, I made that in 1983 when I was in Denver. It was one of my first pieces. And then it went out to Los Angeles at one of these first shows that I did in Beverly Hills. It sat out in the Los Angeles area for quite a while. It was on a roof top in Hollywood during the riots in LA in the 90s. It later went on to Palm Springs and was displayed for probably 4 years at the Desert Fashion Plaza. I got tired of it sitting there. It created some controversy with the art museum itself. So I went in and picked it up. I brought it out here to Gunnison. It eventually sat on a rancher's property here. You didn't realize it would be there if you didn't know it was there. He had 2 Frisian horses that used to hang out by it, and in this valley, when you have a lot of the fog coming up from the East River and the low clouds, it created somewhat of a medieval theatrical experience for people who didn't see it there. But it is also an irony because of what's going on in this town. You have the symbolism of the medieval knight, this entity of what is the strength, fighting a dragon. And thus that's what's going on in this town itself. It's metaphor for the corporations, these elite adventure experience based places where it's only for the elite, coming here and trying to take over what this town actually is. So in a way, this little town of Crested Butte is battling these proverbial dragons. It's a timeless story that goes on. For me, my favorite piece that I've always enjoyed building are horses. I've done them in different variations: Pegasus, horses with wings, Indian chiefs on horses, rearing horses with cowboys, you name it, I've done it. But I'm getting back down to a smaller scale. I used to build them all specifically out of chrome, but now I'm getting more into a mixed usage, and I'm trying to establish with what you see here more of a three-dimensional impressionistic abstraction, yet it's totally, you know what you're seeing here. But I incorporate certain elements of the Southwest, which are traditional. When you see the teals, the sky blue, the orange, and what I try to overall establish with is everything brings and comes together within the chrome context itself. That ties the whole piece in. The pony was the power of the Indian. To have many ponies, you had good medicine and strength. So then the irony of that being, here you had these capitalists that named these vehicles when they overtook the Indians' land, the Pontiacs, the Cadillacs, the Chevrolets. They named them Mustangs, Pintos, you name it. But so what they kind of did was contextualize that whole thing and then decimate it from the Indian culture. But it's an irony also that everything is represented in what's termed horsepower. And so once again, you know, when I build build a horse, every horse is its own individualism, but they all the horses that I have built all have what you might say horsepower. They've come from these great old iron beasts, and they are still reinterpreted into a newer form. A lot of people have scrapped them. They see them as scrap in these fields along the prairies and waysides. But what I do is I try and give them, again, a strength. That's my forte, and I try to give it a certain dignity reinterpreted. But you can see a difference with the one on the banner, which is an exact reproduction of the Da Vinci war horse. And when I was in Amboise, France, I went to where Leonardo da Vinci had died. I learned that he was going to build this massive bronze horse. He never got to because of the wars that were going on, so the bronze was diverted for war machine production. So when there, I studied his drawings in Paris. I said, one day in my own way, I would like to interpret my vision of his exact drawings of a war horse on a smaller, reduced scale, but I'm going to utilize these old cars of American car culture, and I'm going to incorporate it into the strength of the horse. And you know, it might be a lot of the heavy horses were those pieces, you know, those strengths. And so that was what you see over there. You can see it on the web. That was my interpretation. A total difference in the two, but yet from the same materials.
It's amazing. He doesn't chrome any of the steel. He just uses chrome steel and then leaves it. Some of his artwork's been sitting in a field for 20 years, aging, and that tells part of the story too. Sean is probably the most inspiring man I've ever met. He gets it. He does what he wants. He's fueled by his passion and by his, it's like this creative fire is burning inside of him, and it drives him, and he can't snuff it out. And so rather than live a traditional life, he's following that creative passion, and what an inspiration. We hope to meet up with him in the winter and do some cool videos of him creating some artwork. We'll see if that pans out. I really hope it does. About 80% of the cars here have mountain bikes on the back. We have found mountain bike mecca. This place is cool.
After thinking about it and stopping back by the bike shop, talking about it a little bit more, kind of feeling like the 5010 may still be in the running. I do feel like the SB5C doesn't quite bump up things as easily. Like if there's a rock or a root in the trail. That's kind of big, I don't know.
We'll have to take it on a trail and see how it does. The one big takeaway on all things is there's no perfect bike at everything. So you just got to pick one that's good for 90% of what your riding is. And those other 10%, just remember, hey, I'm riding a bike and I'm happy. I remember people by their vehicles, not by their names, and I've seen these trucks a lot and their cousin truck. But check this out. This is a replacement for a shackle. So normally the shackle would be down here and it'd swing, and this just slides on the track there. So it's better on washboard roads, better on the freeway. I may have to look into doing something like that on the van. Lower it a little bit, that'd be really cool. This guy, Smokin' Camel is what I know him by. We've been wheeling 10 years ago in my little red Samurai, I remember that.
It's your only EFI one?
Yep, and the things this man can do with a four-wheel drive vehicle is absurd. You would not believe it. But it's fun to run into him. I just saw him at the gas station.
In Gunnison, Colorado.
Who would have thought?
I know.
We've had a lot of good memories wheeling together. Good to see you. What are the chances I would run into one of my wheeling buddies from Salt Lake 10 years later in Gunnison, Colorado? That's crazy.